Got some good footage of me, Moj, Dan, and Dexter. Just making this video because you guys are playing the tournament. In order for you guys to watch this footage back, you're going to have to listen to me yap. Too bad, too sad. Hopefully it's helpful though. Some things we're going to want to pay attention to is serve, receive, and passing, and just general spacing, and some things with setting, and just some other things we'll see along the way. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So just some things right off the back, and I'll try to be hypercritical here. One thing I'm noticing with Dan in general is like he's not quick to move on the serves, and then he has to kind of like reach with his arms. Sometimes he gets kind of caught. When you're in serve receive, I want you to think. Brandon gave this really good example. It's like pretend you're playing defense and like you're not letting the ball drop. Like if you were playing defense right now, like you'd be like in a nimble position. You're like kind of getting a free ball here, and like your objective is to get in front of the ball, like get your hips in front of the ball, hopefully make a strong platform, and pass to the target, which is in the middle of the court here. So like with that in mind, like you start moving now, you should be able to start moving like at least before the ball's over the net. Like ideally pretty quickly before after it leaves the server's hands. So instead, like this ball is like 2 feet in front of you, but you kind of just get a rushed pass here without that much control. It pulls Dexter. Okay. And then like here, Dexter's still giving you some time here. This is a okay fix. Just wait for him to set to see where the ball goes, because now you're straight under the ball. You have no approach and you have no power. If you would have just waited until like now, then you could take an explosive 1-2 step and hit this ball. But instead, you're just under the ball. And a good sign of that is your neck is cranked up, looking up. If you ever find yourself doing that. That means like for future approaches, just be a little bit more patient to start moving up. Good spot though. Got me. That's a good play. Okay, so one other thing with Dan's approach in general is once you start. When you're setting up your approach, you're trying to get your setter to set to your right hand. So here, you pass way to the camera's right of target. The target is here. You pass like, let's say 10 feet to the right. That means you need to be shifting like along with the ball, let's say 10 feet to the right to help Dexter set to your right hand. In order for Dexter to set to your right hand, I think you called middle here. Like even if he sets a perfect set to the middle, like it's gonna be hard for you to hit to your right hand, and you're gonna either have to hit over here or just hit with no power. But even when you're like passing well to the target, think about taking a shift to the right so that you can get his pass to your right hand. Actually, it ends up going to your right hand. It's like pretty good set. But it would have been easier if had you have shifted earlier. You still end up like not really getting that much power because of it. Yeah, I'm gonna be critical here again too. Okay, so here you hit the ball over. All right, you didn't score. Like you got to go straight back. This opens up some room here. I'm giving you guys like too easy of a ball, but if I do hit this ball 3 feet further back, like that's a point. When otherwise it would be a total free ball if you're already back to this spot. And now we get a free ball in return. Moj takes care of business. Nice serve by Moj. Good pass. Kind of get an easy ball in return. I'd prefer to set that if possible. Jeff, you got. Okay. So in here is just you know, we're seeing this a lot is, okay, this is a high pass. Like, this is a really hard ball to hand set this. Like, I don't think I can hand set this cleanly. And, like, the majority of the times when you're going to hand set this ball, it's going to be a lift or a double or both. So be careful about hand setting those really high balls.
Go, bud! Woo! Go, go, go! Yeah.
I have some comments about that more hand setting, but that wasn't the best example later. I'll talk about this. So maybe we should have watched this whole play, but I'd be like, Dan's calling middle here. I think it's going to be easier for you to call a 4, probably a 4 here, just so Dexter can get to your right hand. In order for you to hit a middle ball, you have to go right to left, and the only way you're going to have power on this ball is if you hit angle. Whereas if you ask for a 4 set, it's going to be to your right hand, and you can still hit hard line, and you can still hit hard angle. Instead, like, I mean, he didn't give you what you were expecting, which, even though I think this is actually a better set. But now, like, you're starting up your approach when you should just be waiting a full second here and seeing where the set goes and giving yourself time to slowly curve up the court, and then when you have to, take an explosive last 1-2 step. But instead, like, you start off with really quick steps here. Like, this is where you have the most explosiveness, is right now. And then you get there early, and then you actually have to go backwards. So you're not gonna have any power here. Instead, like, if you would have waited back here, saw where the set was gonna go, and then attack, you could have been explosive, but you lost your power because you had to stop. Like, this is gonna probably happen a lot. So just try to avoid that if you can. Okay. This is a free ball we should have more control of. Okay, nice. It goes out. And then one thing I'll just say, I don't know if this is the best example of this, but, like, you guys have some ball control. So this is a pretty easy shot to pick up. Dexter should trust that Dan is going to, like, pass this with some control. So, like, Dexter should start to be moving to the target here. Like, Dan's going to pass this ball somewhere over here. So, like, you should be thinking about that and getting to that spot as soon as possible. So, like, this was kind of unnecessarily high, but things to think about. You guys had full control. So, like, if you have control, just get to where you're supposed to be as soon as possible. Nice. It's just like a miscommunication between me and Moj. This is too tight soon. Okay, nice up. So I will make a comment on this end set. Just something like, this ends up being clean, but it doesn't always end up being clean. So just something to think about. Like, think about when you're setting up, and this is like the same thing when you're making a bump set too. Is like, think about just like when you're setting up your foundation, and, like, in this case, your hands. Like, you can get there pretty early and just, like, you set up just, like, pretty late. So Dan ends up, like, quickly shooting the ball when he sets, and that causes a lot of doubles. Like, you can just set up a little bit earlier, and you're gonna set more consistently if, like, your hands are already in the position they need to be. Here, like, if we just watch it at full speed, this ball is high and then it comes down with a lot of speed. So, like, this is just a hard ball to hand set, but you actually do a good job in the end. But there'll be other examples where you'll see you just, like, kind of get your hands up late, and then it ends up being a double. And then I'll compare that to a more controlled play a little bit ago. This is in 6 seconds. So like Moj has a good pass here. It's not too high, and like I'm just like already in the position I need to be to catch the ball and then use my legs to lift forward. It's a more controlled handset. And then like this is something that Moj was doing a lot today. This is a hard thing to work on. Like I make the same mistake, but like okay, so here's coming. Like the idea here is if you're not getting served, you want to go to the target. In this case, like this is a pretty normal serve. Like the target is here. I'm trying to pass the target. So once the serve's going to me, the non-receiver should be going into the target like, as soon as possible. Here, like, you know, Moj starts moving now, basically. So, you know, this is not a... Like, this pass is fine. Sure, it's left of the target. But, like, this is a ball that should be handset. But instead, like, Moj is late and, like, can't get a handset on this ball. And, like, he can already, like, yeah, sure, this pass was, like, low and to the left of center. But, like, this ball was good enough to be handset. And then I'm early and don't have enough power. I should have waited.
Swing. Just up. Yeah.
Alright, I got some stuff to talk about afterwards. Let's see, okay. You know, ideally you can like either take a step back or open up like you do, but just like try to avoid hopping up and swinging your arms. You actually end up getting this ball straight to the target though, so kudos. Kind of funky handset, but and then for Moj here, like I'm running, you know, off the screen here. I need Moj to follow me out here. He's even saying just up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just up means like way out there. He needs to come with me, and then he has to scramble, and that's gonna be a really hard ball to get over if you're like moving all your momentum that way and have to go 30 feet the other way. It's impossible. But if he's like cheating where he thinks the ball is going to go already, then it's going to be much easier for him to get the ball over the net. Okay, so like same thing here. You know, I don't know what's about to happen in this play, but like Moj could get to this ball a full half a second sooner and like provide a more stable set if he was already there sooner and like give me the confidence to know where the ball is going to go. And like he's gonna get away with it because this is a good pass, but like it's just gonna be the difference between like a good set and a great set. Ends up being a great set though. We get away with it, but like sometimes we won't be able to get away with that. Kind of sucks. So like I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I do want to showcase this. Like, okay, ball's coming, like the ball's over the net now, and I am running to the target. Moj gives me the perfect pass, but like I'm already here, so I don't have to move at all. Like I'm going to give him a very reliable set, and like Moj, because I'm already there, like he knows I'm giving him a reliable set, and I can put it really anywhere he asks me to. He ends up being kind of early though. He's already under the ball here, so he has to like he's just early. Let's take a look at this. Same thing on this serve receive. Like you have a good platform here. Just rely on that platform. You can stay low, like you don't have to hop upwards. You don't have to swing. You actually don't swing your platform at all, which is great. But if you didn't jump up, like this would have just been a more controlled set. So like, yeah, a more controlled pass. Motion's a good ball. Dexter's gonna go over on 2 with this, like, the vast majority of the time, but like once again, like we're passing way outside the target. You know, it's not good. It's not generally not a good idea to like go over on 2, like out of survival, right? It's one thing to like do it with intention, but if Dan follows Dexter out here and then talks to him and says like, "With you, I'm up," like, or like, "I'm with you," or just up, that can give Dexter the confidence to just like put the ball up and Dan take care of the rest, instead of just being on survival mode and just trying to stay alive and hitting the ball over the net. But like now we get a free ball, and now like we're gonna score the majority of the time here. We're gonna be hypercritical here. So Dexter does not have full control here. Like this pass is okay, but again, like you're passing like behind the target out here and to the left of target. So like you want to shift over to the left, and you probably want your set to be like somewhere in here, just so you can get a more controlled set from Dexter. Like you're asking Dexter to put a 4, like that's just it's a big ask. Even like someone with better ball control, it's going to be tough to set that way to the court. You know, especially if Dexter isn't able to face like where you want. You know, ideally Dexter is getting behind this ball and he's facing the antenna, and then he's putting the ball around here. But like if you recognize that he's not in control of this, it's a big ask to ask for a 4 here. Dexter kind of just did what he could, which is kind of what was expected. But there was like a misalignment with expectations there. Good ball. Just good play. Alright, got comments on this. We'll go back after the play's over. That was a better example. We'll just replay this entire thing. Okay, that was a good serve, decent pass. This is a little bit different. Like this pass was left of the target, but like more controlled pass. Dexter's already there. I think it's good to ask for a 4 here, but you could start a little bit more on the left just to get the ball in your right hand and be patient. Okay. I get this ball up, and like it like feels sexy and strong to attack this with one hand. It's actually way harder than it looks, and it's difficult because like the ball's coming at you, and it's just hard to have like a strong approach like this. It's not really a natural play compared to the rest of your hits. In my opinion, you should do like one of two things here. Either you can get up, grab the ball, and dunk it somewhere, or throw it somewhere. That's probably your best option. If you can't have that control over the ball, I would say take a little step back and do a controlled pass. And then if you take control of this free ball, give Dexter a good pass, like he's gonna give you a good set, and now suddenly like you have like Dan, big guy with a big set, like you should be scoring the vast majority of the time. Instead, like you actually have less power than you normally would, because it's just hard to approach and attack that ball, and like you end up just giving us the ball back. Maybe that ball is dropping on like other players, but it's tough. And then the hand set here. This is the example. Like, look at when you're setting up your hands. Okay, it's a free ball. You're setting up your hands like literally right now. Maybe I could have paused it like just slightly sooner, but like you're setting up your hands just too late to have solid control of this ball, and you had a lot of time to get ready. Like your body's in a good spot now. Like this is when I'd like start setting up my hands, and that's what's causing the double. Same thing here. Ends up being clean, but it's just too quick. Good pass. This is a good play. I want Dexter to. He's calling middle here. That's good. I want you to just pause here and be more patient. Like think about when you have the most explosiveness in your approach, and you want that explosiveness to be right before you attack the ball, like your last 1-2 steps. Instead, it was, I guess it was kind of steady throughout, but like you had just the most pep in your step, like right here. You kind of did explode here at the end, but the problem was that you were already 2 in front. So here you're under the ball, and then like you make contact straight up or even behind you. Just like try to be a little bit later and attack the ball when it's in front of you. I do this same mistake every single fucking play. This was out. We got a free ball here. Let me see. Something similar I touched on earlier. Alright, so like Dan should be moving to the target now. This pass is like to the right of Dexter's normal place. So like now the target's probably not here. Like the new target is like over here. Dan should get there ASAP. Instead, like he just starts moving late. He's gonna get to this ball late, and then this ball was tight. But like if you're already there, you can still set this ball, and like give Dexter an opportunity to score. But instead, like we get a free ball. Okay. Could have handled it with 2 hands, but easier said than done. That one hit the net, but it didn't move. If you would have moved, you could have got that serve. Good shot. This is a good example of this too. Like, okay, this is a good pass. It's like you could say this is a little tight, but this is a good pass. Like look when Moj starts moving to the target. He actually like takes a step backwards. He starts moving like just after I hit the ball. So it's just late, and then it's gonna be a less controlled set. Ends up being a good set, but like it's just not. It's not always going to be reliable. This is probably Moj's ball. That was it. Hope this is helpful. Just one more thing I'll say. I'm talking a lot about Dan, but we're all pretty much making the same mistakes. I'm making all of these same mistakes. I'm early in my approach every time. Like my platform is also like not stable enough. A little bit too much swinging. But just try to think of what leads to a good outcome, and recreate that situation. And a lot of the time is just getting to where you need to be defensively, like as soon as possible, and And then, on offense, I think a lot of our biggest issues are not creating the proper space with your setter to allow them to set to your dominant hand, and then all of us are not patient enough after we pass. We're all like moving as our setter is touching the ball when like you want to pass, shift to your proper position, wait, let your setter set the ball, wait, and then attack. So good luck, boys.